then the day got caught up and I didn't have a chance to reach out to you guys. But we are live, episode 64. Um, yeah, glad to be back here. Paz, how you doing?
Hello, doing great. Thank you.
Yeah, always got a new background there.
Yes,
TSG,
sir.
how
New
are
place.
you?
Yeah, good, good, good. Yeah, excited to see what the conversation is like today.
Yeah, so hey, I know you don't have too much time. It's already getting kind of late, so let's get right into it. We can make this a quick one today. But the first thing I want to talk about, since it's been a little while since the last episode, is the new game designers that we have. We have Steven and Trevor. Um, so from what I picked up from the last town hall, Steven has about 10 years of experience, and he worked with Eve Online, and he was the lead and founder or co-founder of Eve Frontier. And he's coming in as the systems and economy designer. And I'm guessing that Aaron had a role in hiring this guy, because I know Aaron had always talked about how he liked the economy of Eve Online and tried to bring that to Illuvium, even though kind of didn't really work out, I think, as originally planned. Um, but he seems like a great guy. In Trevor as well. Trevor, it looks like he's got 8 years of experience, worked at Blizzard and World of Warcraft, um, and in some other games more recently. But it seems like these two really have the experience that we need in Illuvium, especially after hearing people, you know, I, shit on Kieran for years for saying that he doesn't really have any game design. He doesn't really know what he's doing. But now we actually have people with the experience. They seem like great people. They're both personable on the town hall, and it seems like they got a good vision and some big changes for Illuvium. So, Tyron, why don't we start with you? What do you think of these two and what they presented in the town hall, and any other time that you've heard from them?
Yeah, cool. In terms of what I think about them, they seem like nice guys. I haven't spoken to them yet. I think the idea is that in the next month or two, ideally the next month, I think Skyrex wants to bring them on. Ideally, I would love to have them individually so we can have an hour with them on the download. I think that'd be really, really fun, and we'd actually be able to grill them from a community point of view rather than a polished, hey, we're Illuvium presenting these guys. I don't think much is going to change, but I think it'd just be a fun angle to look at it. So regarding that, seem like nice guys. What they're saying is very exciting. I prepped a bunch for the download episode last week or whatever. I'll run through a couple of things that they mentioned in the town hall that I think are really, really cool and exciting. That the Ranger progression is getting a huge overhaul. They're talking about the synergy based, like a class web. So you get points towards, I forget the game, maybe like Skyrim or something like that, where you have like, or even RuneScape, you have a crafting thing, you have a cooking skill, you have a ba skill, and they're talking about it that way with the Ranger as well, having fire, water, air, and like as you level it up, you unlock different abilities for that tree alone. And when you have a combination of trees, you unlock more things. I think that's a very cool way to do it, and I think there's a meme in RuneScape where 92 to 99 is 50% of the way there. And it's like, it means that replayability, if you really want to get there to the end game, like it is that grind, which I think
Yeah.
is quite cool. So that's one of the things. They say that the drones will also have a progression tree based on what I'm seeing with their suggestion for player progression. I'm not going to doubt they've got a pretty good idea there as well. Keen to see what that looks like. Uh, Alluvials will fight beside you. We already know that. So what they mentioned was that they want to kind of somewhat soft luck the higher tier alluvials or higher stage alluvials, so that even though we're in now, yes, we have those assets, but we're unable to use them just yet. Similar to a Pokemon game, where if I start a new game and I have another game with a level 100 Charizard, if I bring it into a new game, he's not going to listen to me, right? I have it,
Yeah.
but he won't listen to me. So there's that kind of aspect there as well. So it's not going to ruin the economy. There's a bunch of other things. They kind of addressed that they needed to design sinks to prevent asset inflation. The fact that they're coming in and understanding this and speaking about it already gives me a little bit of hope. Loot rolls. So I love this. So they want to make it replayable and loot rolls. And I mentioned this previously. And what do I mean by loot rolls? I mean that the items that you get are going to have different stats. So we could all have a version of a fire sword, but all of our stats for that fire sword is going to be different, and that keeps us grinding to try and get the best one out there, right? And that was the reason I came into Web3 from Borderlands 3. Was, man, what, like it's just a great way to keep people coming in and grinding for the best thing. So I love that completely. They're talking about fuel and land. I know that's a big thing for you and how they think they want to integrate that. Uh, Obviously, the vertical slice, and then what I think is quite interesting is that they've kind of addressed that at some point they want to bring Overworld to mobile. So, and I cut out a lot of the things that I took notes of, but there's a lot that they spoke about and a lot to be excited about. It's just whether they can execute on it, how they execute on it. And I am liking the shift in transparency in them speaking about this, and we're able to have this conversation, whereas previously, not saying it wasn't transparent, it wasn't as transparent.
Yeah. Yeah, I like what they were saying about everything and how things are changing. And they seem to be really like realistic about things too. Like not saying this is coming next week kind of thing. They're talking
Mm.
about the vertical slice that they're doing in Brightland Steps and how that's just going to be like a kind of like the proof of concept that they're going to build out. But they also mentioned something like doing that proof of concept and then translating it to like widening it up is going to take a lot more time. So it sounds like we might get this first like vertical slice that is called sooner than later, but then as it expands from there it might take more time. um but yeah, I mean, we're kind of going into both this segment and the next segment here too. So Paz, why don't I go to you? What do you think about these two new game designers and what they're bringing to the overworld?
Yeah, I'm super excited for them to come, and they seem like really, really experienced and really genuine, cool guys. And their presentation was amazing. Like Terrence said, very transparent and really cool to see their vision. And I think they bring in a lot of fresh views. Like it feels like the longer you are in Web3, the more stuff moves a little bit away from traditional game development and it becomes a little bit convoluted with all the other things that you have to include. And they come in, I think, from a full non Web3, full Web2 background. And you can really feel that they're all about the passion and the games. And they've shown so much passion. And what has surprised me the most is how fast they picked up on all the terminology, like not calling energy mana, like not calling omega abilities, ultimate abilities, and stuff like this. This took
Yeah.
months for me, and they
No,
seem to
it's funny.
very.
That's something I was just about to say. Like watching them in the town hall, how well it seemed like they already understood the Illuvium ecosystem. When I know that can take a long time to do, but it seems like within
Mhm.
a month or a month or two that they have a really good understanding of how things are and how they want to change it.
Yeah, yeah. They seem like all about it. They seem really excited for it. I think it's a really cool job that they get thrown into because all the hard work has been front run, all the assets are done, and now they have all, or not all of it, but a lot of the pieces are already made, and they have all these Lego pieces, and they're just trying to build something out of them. So I think they joined the project in a really cool time for them, where they can really just see what we got, think about a vision with all their experience from World of Warcraft and Eve and so on, and build something great. And yeah, I have a lot of hope and a lot of I'm excited for the future with them.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. And I want to add now that we're on the overworld outlook here. I want to add a couple more things. I know TSG just mentioned a lot of them, but another thing is they wanted to make it more like an exploration type game. I think he compared it to what Zelda Breath of the Wild, kind of just go out there and explore a little bit. They want to make the alluvials, I guess, a little more rare, a little more like exciting to find in alluvial. And they said there'd be more NPCs to kind of fill the the world rather than just alluvials running around. Um,
And
we
on
got a
this,
taste of what was that.
are you finished? No, I was gonna throw in because I think there's an interesting take to this where if you compare it to Pokemon, and you know the traditional Pokemon, you have this mysterious grass, the long grass. You run into the grass, and
Yeah,
something pops up, right? You have this
yeah,
loot box feeling, this gacha feeling all the time. But once it moved to like Pokemon Arceus, and actually the Pokemon were roaming around in the open world, it lost a lot of this mysteriousness, this excitement, and yeah, I think we lost a lot, or we tried to capture the original Pokemon feeling, but by just having them running around like animals in abundance, and you see 500 at one scan, it feels not as it should feel. And I think, yeah, that's what they talked about as well, to
Yeah,
make it more
yeah. I
special.
remember I was only getting that exciting feeling when I saw like a Ramfire, like a tier 5 stage 3. That's when I get a little excited. But then you see all these stage 1s and stage 3s just running around. And you're just like, those are just the more alluvials that I don't need. Um, but another thing I was going to mention is that we got a taste of what Breach looked like, and they said that there might. I don't think nothing really here was confirmed. This is just their plans going forward. But they said that there would be like breaches within the overworld. So like I don't know, you'd come across
Think
I don't know
about it. Think about it
some
as a vault or a dungeon. So like you
yeah,
see
you'd
it
come across
then
something
you
and then
yeah.
yeah, you'd go into that breach and then you'd be able to like explore and get more loot or more experience or more of whatever going through those breaches while you're in the overworld. And then you just, come back. Yeah, like as if you went into a dungeon or something like that. So I thought that was pretty cool how they're already thinking about how to incorporate breach into the game when we were told like, oh, here's breach, but it might not become of anything. So it's nice to see that that's coming in.
Yeah,
Um,
that sounds really exciting because it adds that next layer to it, where now you're just in the overworld and the next layer would be going into a fight, which actually is a boring part of it because you don't want to really go into an auto battle fight in this open world exploration game. We already have the arena. And now instead of this, you're going into this dungeon where more stuff is waiting for you and exciting, like real action combat and stuff like this. So now the overworld is just a base layer, and then we can jump into deeper layers that offer more excitement and more rewards and stuff like that. So
yeah,
that
and they
sounds
can
really cool.
always add more into the breaches, make those a bigger experience. And it seems like those are going to be more on the rare side too. Like you'd have to like really explore, go deep into the world, and then find where this breach is. Because then you'll get like more loot or whatever out of it. So I thought that was cool. And then the last thing I want to just reiterate that I know Taryn just mentioned is the the idea of like the unique experiences and how you can level up each different I guess
Class entropy.
affinities, classes, whatever it is. But yeah, like the more you build on one tree, the certain things will get unlocked earlier. So if you're building your fire in your you know bulwark tree part up, then you're gonna get. It sounds like you're gonna get access to those alluvials like at higher stages before some of the other ones. So basically, everybody can kind of tailor their game to how they want to play it. So I like that too. So it seems like no one's going to be going through the same experience. Like it's going to feel a little different for everybody, and you can make it your own game, which is another something that I really like about this idea. I can make the game how I want it to be.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm
Anything
not
else
sure
on
how it
the
will work
overworld
out.
before we move on?
What do you say?
The one thing that I have is just that something that I think we absolutely need is like legendary raids. I know raids are going to be a big part, but what I mean by legendary raids is make it so insanely difficult that if you get hit once, it's game over. For like the try hard end game, like have some of them that once that boss is defeated, you get a legendary item or items, and that boss is never to be seen again. And then like just have like a stack of them. And the reason that I say make it so difficult, make it insanely difficult that it would take someone a month, 2 months, 3 months to defeat. So in that way, you would only need to make about 4 to 6 of them a year. But if you can do that, and then what you can do is you can use some of that and mix it up and match it up with for future ones. But you kind of need something that's so insanely difficult that it's like it's a challenge run, but also it keeps people playing of like, yo, how do I defeat this? How do I do this? And then you get the legendary thing. Like all of that just makes sense to me. I'm sure there are some downsides, but I think the pros of it just outweigh the cons. That the major con is like if it's not developed properly, um, yeah, if it's not developed properly, we kind of just it can get bugged out, and someone just cheeses it, and you don't want something like that to happen, right? So as long as that's completely avoided, I think there's a lot of pros to it.
Yeah, and that just reminds me of a couple other things they mentioned in that town hall about like Leviathans, getting Leviathans in there, and even multiplayer. They
Mhm.
mentioned multiplayer in there too, so I could see like combining that all together, multiplayer raids against a Leviathan boss or something like that. So, yeah, things are looking
Yeah,
exciting with that. I
I wanted to
think those are
say
going to be
what PSG said there. Like,
yeah,
we had a bad narrative in the beginning where we tried to make it as least punishing as possible because people paid for their loot box run, their gamified overworld run, so they shouldn't be punished and lose money if they play bad. But that just made it like pointless. If you can't be punished, it's not worth playing the game. And I think we see that a lot also with like all those games like Elden Ring, stuff like this, where people spend thousands of hours trying to make it as hard as possible, the craziest challenge. And I think we need that excitement in there.
yeah. No, I agree. And hopefully we get some more town halls. Like they're talking about being more transparent, like again. So hopefully we start hearing more and more about this. But all right, so let's move on to this next topic. Probably gonna be a quick one, but I really wanted to touch on how they have this new a new dashboard that shows all of the rewards that you can get, all the different leaderboards. I think they got leaderboards for pretty much every game now. Even when it comes to Illuvium Zero, I heard that there is going to be a leaderboard for Illuvium Zero, but right now it's just what you can earn based on your selling your fuel. Um, but Paz, have you been on the leaderboard for the gauntlet right now? And how's that
Yeah,
going?
first week I put a bit of fuel in there and did it, but I've been buying a lot of illuvials anyway off the marketplace and trying to get a lot of them for fusing perfect stat illuvials. I got some perfect stat illuvials, and I'm not really trying to do like the loot box, the gambling side of things right now because yeah, I have a decent amount, and if I need something, I'm just gonna get it off the marketplace. So yeah, I've been going back a little bit. I was just recently suggesting to the council as well that we maybe should get raffle tickets those from those auto drone runs, just so you have some reason to get like a few each week, just to be in the raffle to get that lottery ticket. Because right now, for me, it's either get into the 100, or if I don't manage to do that, don't do it at all. But this might change once we get Leviathan and actually ownership matters a little bit more. So once Leviathan competition starts up, that might be more interesting to do more drone runs for me personally. But yeah, I think people have been going crazy. If you look at the leaderboards, big
Yeah.
numbers up there.
Yeah,
I've
I
been
think
enjoying
the
myself.
leaderboards are really drawing people back into it. I mean, that's a lot of the people still here are still in it for the crypto part. So having those leaderboards with rewards, a lot of people are into that. Go ahead, TSG.
All right. No, I was going to be saying I've been enjoying the drone runs quite a lot. But anyway, yo,
Yeah.
guys, I got to bounce. I wish I could stay for the whole thing, but next time. But yeah.
All right.
All
Thanks
right.
for joining, bro.
Enjoy,
I'll let
guys.
you know.
Bye bye
See
bye.
you later.
Let's take the moment, highlight some community comments. Taylor's is up. What up? What up? We got Steigen right here. I think a new player which came in and has been dominating the arena as well. I've seen him a lot on the leaderboard and in my games. Great player.
Nice, nice. Not too
Good to see
familiar with
you.
him, but glad some new people are getting in here.
Yeah, we,
Yeah, and
we have a
Taylor's,
lot of new
yeah,
faces.
yeah. I know. I gotta get more into. I gotta start playing some more. Taylor's, he's been a long time person here. Got S Judd in here. I'm not even gonna bring up that comment because he's not very nice all the time. But thanks for watching, anyways. Um, all right, so
Free content.
let's go to this next topic here. I think we were done kind of talking about the rewards. Actually, no, there's one more thing I want to bring up with the rewards. Because one of the leaderboards I've been on this, for a while has been the uh Illuvium Beyond. So I think I've been on the leaderboard literally since week one, almost two plus years ago. But recently they've been talking about how wave 4 is finally coming in May. I don't know if there's a specific date. I don't know if that's going through the council or anything like that. But they did say that it's coming in May, which means it could technically be here, within the next 2 weeks. But I'm excited about that. Getting back into it. That's the thing that I've been doing the most is just buying discs and open them for Illuvium Beyond. Um, so that'll be fun to get that going. And I think that always brings in new people because they'll have the partnerships coming in. I'm excited to see what the next ones are. But yeah, I mean, anything you're hearing on the council side for Illuvium Beyond Wave 4?
If I did,
Same prices and
obviously
everything?
under NDA, and I'm not allowed to
Well,
talk
yeah,
about it, right? But no, especially because I'm
same kind of
ICC,
deal.
we usually know things on a need to know basis, and that's not something we need to know right now. So yeah,
Yeah,
no info on that. But
yeah,
it looks cool. I've seen the leaks about it, and I'm excited. The seer looks crazy.
yeah. No, they
We
look pretty
got
cool, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see if anything changes from week 3. But yeah, they always have
wait,
the overall leaderboard. So every week, so even between seasons or between waves, we've still been collecting those points or those rewards. But then there's also like the wave specific rewards. So those specific rewards for wave 3, and I'm guessing they're going to do that again for wave 4. Um, and Samsara, that name does sound familiar. Thanks for joining in. All right. Yeah, so let's go over to governance. So obviously, I haven't been on the council for a while. You're on the council, so you're going to know more about what's going on than I do right now. So I'm going to kind of leave this with you, but I just want to know, like, is there any changes coming with governance itself? Any other things that are being talked about right now? I know um uh, was it Dagonite had brought up something about cutting the council pay. It sounded like is that gone through? Is council pay already going to be cut for the next epoch?
So yeah, he proposed cutting pay by 2/3, so leaving 1/3. So instead of 1,500 for the ICC is 500. Instead of 3,070, 3,750, it's gonna be 1,250
And is
for the
that
IMC.
passed? Has that passed?
It's Well, first he proposed it, and from the ICC, and especially from my side, we said we want to have revisions there. We want to have at least a scalable model for this pay cut. Because what happens if Illuvium does really good in the next few months? We're going to have to revisit this again and up it again. Because if the project is doing well, there is no reason for us to not have a decent pay for the council and actually attract high qualified people. So it didn't seem very scalable. So what we suggested was bringing in a scalable pay model that is tied to the revenue that Illuvium is making. And basically what it's looking right now is once Illuvium breaks even, so we get enough revenue that we don't burn into our treasury. At this point, we're gonna be returned roughly to the values that we have right now, to the old pay. And
Okay.
so this has been updated, this has been revised, and it has been passed on a ICC and IMC level. We did have a supermajority vote. We needed 7 out of 10 to vote for it, so it didn't go first ICC and then IMC. It was a combined voting, and that went through, and it has been passed. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, honestly, the first thing I saw, and I'm not on the council. I'm considering running again for this next council, but so it doesn't really affect me directly. But I was thinking right away with you cut it down by 2/3, and I feel like especially those people who are in the IMC right now, they might decide that this past epoch was their last one, and they might just leave. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Someone like Annie, he's been in there for a while. He's obviously great. He's the CEO of ETH Lizards. Hoping they do well as we go forward. But cutting the pay like this might be it might be that one thing that's says something for Annie, like I'm gonna finally leave this, let somebody else take a spot on the IMC. And again, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe shuffling things up for this next epoch will be a good thing. But who knows? I don't know. Maybe everybody who will want to just run again and see if they can keep those spots. I don't know. Things have obviously been slow. I haven't been hearing too much on the governance side, or really from the people in the IMC. Like I haven't
Yeah.
heard much from Scrubber Dub Dad in a long time. But
Yeah.
I'm also not in the Discord as much as I used to. So maybe I'm just missing things. Um,
Yeah, I think there's two ways that it can go with the reduced pay. Either there's people coming in there like, all right, I get a low pay, so I'm gonna put in low hours. So basically, they're just going to do the absolute basic requirement, the absolute minimum, which is fair, right? That's what you're getting paid for. We even had people this epoch who did the absolute minimum, and so you can never really. Well, we tried to incorporate. I think I'm still going to try to push for a proposal where we get more accountability for council members. So you actually have to show, hey, this is what I did last month, and to have something. It's really hard. You cannot put like you have to put in this amount of hours because it's a little bit more variable than that. Sometimes it's you need triple the amount of hours. Sometimes there's not so much going on, but some kind of accountability would be good, so we can counter the paycheck collectors a little bit. But we're definitely gonna get that more if we reduce pay. And the other people who are gonna be interested in is people like me who have like the YouTube channel, who have like other Illuvium based businesses or interests. So it's like it helps me out in so many ways because my personal investment, my business investment, my brand, my job, everything is in Illuvium. So might as well get involved more. So I will do it
Yep.
no matter the pay. And then we got big Illuvium enthusiasts that would also want to like to go in there. So it's not all bad, but it's definitely in the long run. If we succeed, we should have a high pay and really attract high qualified people, because with 1,200 and we still have a little bit of risk involved with it, we're not going to attract those very highly qualified people. But yeah, once we break even, right now it's more about semantics, I think, more about just being unified with the team who had to take pay cuts, who had to take, like, a lot of people were let go, were fired. So I think the council is just following suit with the team, reducing the burn, and then in the long run, once we succeed, we can get back up there and hopefully improve council even more.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I like the idea of kind of scaling up with the revenue because, obviously, people like you and me, we're in it because we still believe in it. So, um, I don't want to say if, when things recover and when things get back on pace, then, bringing that pay back up so we have quality members, I think is a great idea. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, speaking of that, let's just, quickly for this last topic. I know I mentioned the market recovery before we even started this, and you were just like, "Oh, how's it going?" I haven't even been looking at it, but at least on the Bitcoin side of things, the market has been recovering this past week. I know my overall portfolio has gone up, quite a bit, enough to make me happy. I'm still down a lot since January, but just over this past week and a half, things have been going up. It's hard to be excited about ILV being like $15, but when you look a few weeks ago when it was down at like 10 or 11, $15 doesn't look too bad right now. So at least we're heading back in the right direction. Hopefully this was the final, like, we hit the bottom the past couple weeks and we're heading back up. And I know you're not paying attention to it too much, but I'm seeing other projects. Like, I've had a couple projects reach out to me about making content, and I'm seeing more chatter from different projects. On X, Discord. It seems like more people are getting enthusiastic about it. I guess they're seeing that the market's recovering. They're going to put more time and energy into it. So it seems like things are going to be going in the right direction from now. But are you getting that feeling, or are you still kind of feeling like we're in this back in a bear market here?
Yeah, I like a few weeks ago I used to check daily, and it would just take a little bit of my sanity away, right? Just trying to follow the market and even trying to act on it, which was even worse. So at one point I just got back to my usual routine: invest in the things that you trust, that you believe in, that you know are doing good stuff, that have a good product, and let it go. Just let the
Yeah,
market do its thing, be in there for the long run, and just after a few years check back and see what you did. Put my head down, grind, build, make my project succeed, and not focus too much on the market. So
yeah.
yeah,
No,
I
it
haven't
makes
been
sense.
looking at it, and I'm very happy I didn't, and I'm very happy it's up. Then you get those news like, oh, the last few days were good. Great,
Yeah,
that's good stuff.
yeah. No, and I've been saying this for a while, but I've been taking a more Bitcoin like focused approach to my crypto, and that's
That
been
makes
working
sense.
well.
It's a big
But I
blue chip.
obviously, like, yeah, I haven't really been selling. Well, I haven't sold any of my ILV since it was over 100. Back a year ago when it went up there, I was smart to take a little bit of profit on it. But once it went under 100, I've just been holding. So I'm hoping that things make a good recovery.
Yeah,
Not
I
time in
like
the
that
market,
one.
it's time in the market. Yep, exactly. That's what I keep thinking, especially when it comes to Bitcoin. Like I think what 10, 20 years out, what's still going to be there? And to me, Bitcoin's the one that's always going to be there. So like I just want to be holding it for as long as possible. With ILV, obviously there's the chance that things fail. I when it comes to crypto, Bitcoin's the only thing I know is going to be here in 10 to 20 years.
There's
But
a
I
chance it
still
can fail too, right? It's just a less chance, and that's why there
yeah,
is more risk and more opportunity in Illuvium, right? It's just different. It's the
yeah,
safer approach, I guess.
yeah, that's the
Bitcoin.
thing. There's more
Pretty safe.
opportunity and more risk for sure. And if we are heading back into this bull market, eventually we're going to get an alt season, and ILV, just like many other coins, are going to outperform Bitcoin. Uh, but I'm to the point where it's just like I want to be as safe as I can within crypto, if that's even possible.
Yeah, that's a good middle way, I guess. I'm gonna follow
Right?
suit. I'm gonna allocate a little bit more into safer assets. And
Yeah,
somebody told me one day, diversifying is for poor people. But looking at my portfolio these last months, I'm gonna
yeah,
start diversifying going forward.
yeah.
It's the better approach, right?
Yeah, definitely.
The
But
safer approach.
like I said, anything can happen. And I don't even want to put say ILV predictions anymore. But like, we could get back up over 100, 200, and that could be 10, 15 X's from here. So there's still a lot of
Yeah,
potential out there.
100%. I'm gonna keep posting my selfies on Twitter till we hit 420
Oh, that's
dollars
right.
per
Yeah, you're
token.
still doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I'm on like 130 days. I'm gonna schedule the next batch soon. It has been fun. It gives me. I like it. I would never do it on my like personal Instagram or something, but
yeah,
connected with like my illumination, it's fun. Just showing a
yeah.
little bit of what I'm doing in my life because I've been traveling a lot, so it has been
Yeah.
fun to share that with the
All right.
community.
Yeah, we got quick crypto quick chat here saying sup guys, can't watch it live, but I'll catch a replay soon. I'm guessing you just hopped in at the end here, but I appreciate that. Um, Estrid in here, Sam Sarah, who else we got? Silver Bushman, let's go ILV. Yeah, yeah. There's still a lot of people in this community. A lot of people have left. I know we got some new people coming in, uh, but I'm still bullish and excited to see how things go from here. But yeah, that
Yes,
that
sir.
about
Me too.
finishes this. I mean, yeah. Anything else you got to say before we close out this
No, no,
episode?
that was a clean cut. Uh, nice episode. Great job. And I think we're gonna be back maybe in 2 weeks, right? If,
Yeah, definitely. I think this between this episode and the previous one was the longest I've gone. I think it was about 4 weeks. Usually, I'm going 2 or 3 weeks. I got to get more back into it. I got a lot of things going on behind the scenes right now that I'm figuring out, but I gotta be doing this more. So yeah, 2 or 3 weeks we'll be back here. Um, let's see, a big show when Wave 4 comes out. Yeah, when Wave 4 comes out, I'll definitely be doing something more. I actually got to get in contact with ETH Lizards again because I was hosting some shows for opening disc, whatever they call it, disc wars for ETH Lizards. So I got to see if they're doing that again, and if they're gonna have me, I'd be happy to do that. But I'll be doing stuff on my own channel as well.
yeah, I'm
But
gonna
yeah,
be happy to battle you again and take all your stuff like
I know. I
I'm
feel
used
like
to
I
doing
lose to
on
you
those.
every time, so it's got to turn around in my favor at some point.
Yeah, and
But all
maybe
right, that
Terran
was a
has
nice
to
quick
replace me next.
episode, huh?
Sorry, I was just gonna say maybe Terran has to replace me next month. I'm gonna be traveling to India, so we'll see. But
Yeah,
I'm glad that we
yeah.
have Terran as our co-host,
Yeah,
jumping in and
we'll
out.
figure it out. I'll always get
Yes,
somebody.
sir.
We'll get this going. Paz, you'll always be welcome, even if you can't make it for a couple episodes. Always welcome back. But
Sweet,
yeah,
good to know.
that's it. See you later. Thanks for watching.
Bye.